me, Dennis Bannock is snowboarding. He's one of the first people I think of when I think about snowboarding.
Well, I guess you describe Dennis as one of those gentle giants.
The guy is the most powerful snowboarder I've ever seen, hands down.
I grew up about 10 minutes away from Dagmar and Lakeridge, Pickering, Ontario, out in the sticks. Grew up with mini bikes and BMXs. It's tough for a farm kid to find a skateboard.
Dennis, as a kid, his nickname was Rubber Boy, Rubber Man, full stunt man, launching shit blind on dirt bikes and knocking himself out. We were running around, no parents to be seen. Get back up and hit it again.
My parents' parenting style was pretty awesome. They're really social, so I was brought out to all my parents' friends' parties, and if I learned to sleep in the worst conditions, just noise-wise. I could pass out in the middle of a party any day. So it just turned me into a social guy, you know. Every March break we'd be down in Ellicottville, New York at my grandparents' place, just skiing, having fun. And then I found snowboarding in like 84, 85. A couple of buddies and myself were riding at Dagmar and riding at night, and we saw a couple of guys come down on a pair of avalanche boards. And I was just like, what is that? That's amazing. And I had seen it, there was a Burton ad in an old powder magazine, and I was super hyped, you know. Chris Carroll doing a nice slash, shooting snow, and I was just like, that's amazing, I want to do that. I just started skateboarding, and the whole idea of standing sideways, and it was cool to me. I was super happy. I think I was drawn to snowboarding just because it was so different and it was new. So after getting kicked out of high school, I moved out west in 1989 due to my mom's urgings. Get out west, go have fun, learn life. It was awesome. We were a bunch of fresh dudes just learning how to snowboard, and we just went and charged that mountain.
Dennis is the craziest guy I know. If he doesn't land something the first time, he doubles the speed and does it again. Sick.
He was really just sort of this legendary figure in Lake Louise at the time. Team Core, they called themselves. And Bannock was a big part of that. So when I moved out there, I kind of knew that I would hopefully be running into Bannock at some point, and hoped I would get to meet him and shred with him. And he was really just this larger-than-life character out there.
Nobody was really interested in me. I was kind of loud and a mess, you know. And then I met Ken Ockenbach, and that was the catalyst. You know, he was like, you should come out and, you know, come to my summer camp. I'll get you a job. The whole, how my career transpired was me yelling at kids in the half pipe. When there wasn't POW, I was hiking the pipe and I was yelling, you know, encouragement. I was yelling at them to get out of my way. I was, you know, just basically berating people, and that turned into my coaching job.
He just wanted people to have a better time snowboarding.
He always definitely wants to, you know, give his advice out, and you know, everyone's just willing to take it from him as well, just because of, you know, all the years he's been doing this. You know, he is considered one of the grandfathers of snowboarding. So
His technical riding and his technical understanding of snowboarding is phenomenal. He's given so much to snowboarding in Canada.
yeah, Dennis definitely is the one who's kind of brought a little bit more exposure to the coaching scene and you know, trick tips and stuff like that. Camp of Champions back in the day loved having him a part of it and would market him, you know, to a lot of the campers, just because, you know, he was one of those people that, you know, a lot of people respected.
And honestly, like, most pro snowboarders aren't necessarily capable of telling you exactly in a scientific way, in an instructional way, how to do a trick. We would just start the year and call him up and say, this is what we want to do, we want to cover these kind of tricks. He'd go out and get the sequences, and he would really just write the best, most straightforward instructions on how to do those tricks. To us, he was just the best guy to do that, and he did a great job at it for a long, long time.
We certainly knew how to party and have a good time, but Dennis always knew when it was time to get down and get some photos or go riding. And he was actually really good at generating media around himself, and he knew how to get everybody together to go to a spot to make things happen. So he was definitely always driven to get media around him, but first and foremost always was have a good time and just enjoy snowboarding.
These kids that are out there hitting the jumps from backcountry are waiting for windows of light. They're hitting like gigantic booters with cold legs. I can't do it, you know. I couldn't do it. I just wanted to go and snowboard, shred around the mountain. That's all I ever wanted to do.
You know, to me, he's a real sort of Peter Pan character. You know, there's a lot of guys like that in snowboarding and skateboarding who kind of never want to grow up and they just want to shred and skate forever. And I think that's Dennis, you know, and I mean that as the highest compliment possible. I think he loves snowboarding today as much as he did the first time he did it.
He's an incredible guy. He's an ambassador to snowboarding and human beings as a whole. And Dennis is just a genuine soul that loves to snowboard.
I'm that guy that makes everybody feel that, hey, you can just have fun and be a bum and snowboard. You know, I love the scene. You know, I love being a part of it. I've watched it grow from this big to what it is now.
Dennis really hasn't changed much than he was, 15 years ago or more. He's still, he's still young as he ever was. He's still riding as strong as he ever was, and he's, like the same thing with his skateboarding. The guy is invincible, really. It's kind of funny that we're all getting to this age of 40 because it doesn't really feel like it. It doesn't even look like it. So, kudos to him. Dennis has been there the whole time.
You can be rich, famous, or you can be respected. I'm lucky enough to be respected. And to me, that's everything. Oh, I'm young at heart. All I want to do is just keep skateboarding and keep snowboarding, I've probably got more in common with an 18-year-old than I have with a regular 40-year-old. Except when we talk about music. I haven't grown up. That's all. Grown up enough, but I'm trying to keep it real young.